Hello, this is Pala Jasmine, and this is going to be a video blog that I wanted to do a few weeks ago, but I couldn't do it a few weeks ago because I got busy with life, namely work. Yeah, work is taking a little bit good chunk of my life, and um, I've been a little bit busy. The video blog today that I'm going to talk about is about Dungeons and Dragons. Yes, Dungeons and Dragons. That's what I'm talking today. Um, I'm going to talk about Dungeons and Dragons. Yeah, let me find something because I want to give a shout out to some amazing people that I met this past week. They came to get me on camera for a documentary, and I'm glad that they did because I guess I could talk and tell my story and how what it means to be trans for me. So this shout out is for my friend Chloe Allison Prince, which she's on tour in the Trans Across America 2014 Chloe Tour. So, hey guys, have fun. Wish you a safe trip. Hope that you can continue visiting all the cities that you guys are planning to visit, and I hope that you can continue meeting more amazing people. Anyway, yikes! I can't believe that I said that. No, but they are amazing people. So yeah. I can't wait to see the documentary, see how good or how many pounds the camera add to my body when I'm talking. I don't know. Anyway, I'm sure it will be fine. So, going to the topic. Today's topic of my video blog is Dungeons and Dragons. And yes, I'm going to be talking about a geeky topic called Dungeons and Dragons. Yes, this is my hardcover of a TSR version of D&D Basic, Dungeons and Dragons Basic Edition. I got it in 1993, but this is about 1991 that it was published. I got it on a trip to Orlando, Florida. My dad gave me some money, I went to a store, and I was able to get this book for, back in the day, 25 bucks, So I got this this book. And basically, this like Dungeons and Dragons when I started before I went to college. I got this book, and here you have different classes. You have the fighter, magic user. You have the fighter, magic user, the thief, the cleric, and the magic user, fighter. And the thief. Yeah, those were the four main classes. And then here they didn't give you the option of having a different race, and you're picking a different race before you choose a class. So the dwarf was a race, and the dwarf was like a warrior. There was also the elf, who was like a mix of a warrior, of a fighter, and a magic user. And then there was the halfling, and which was kind of like a thief fighter, basically. There was two other classes that were optional: the druid and the mystic. And the mystic it's like the monk in AD&D 3.5 and 2.4. Eventually, I found out about when I got into college. This is in 1993. Yes, I'm that old. But when I got into college, I found that people played Advanced Dungeons and Dragons in the campus center. So I began getting involved heavily into RPG and gaming. What I grew up playing was Advanced Dungeons and Dragons 2nd Edition. I got lucky. I got the new jobs, and because of that, I was able to buy the new books, the republished books of AD&D 2nd Edition that Wizard of the Coast republished. And I also have the original, well, not the AD&D First Edition that Wizard of the Coast published, not the original one. Sorry about that, I made a mistake. But yeah, I have the AD&D First Edition that Wizard of the Coast published. They are basically similar. The main difference is with Advanced Dungeons and Dragons 2nd Edition is that the mechanics seem to be a little bit more simpler, in my opinion. Although a lot of people I know that they don't like the tackle, which is the to hit armor class 0. But if you're good with maths, the tackle it's barely just a number, and now you have to do is like subtract or add a number to find out what's the number that you have to get in your d20. Oh yeah, a d20. When you play Dungeons and Dragons, you use a d20. If you have never played a game, let me show you what a d20 looks like, so that way you know that they exist. So a d20 is a 20-sided dice, and here it's a close copy of the 20-sided dice. So yeah, it has 20 sides, and basically you throw it for the number that falls on top. So it has 20 sides. Anyway, yeah, this is like very geeky video blog. So in here, compared to the D&D basic, in here you have the different races, and you could be a human, a half-elf, halfling, an elf, and or a dwarf, and you could be a fighter, paladin. Let me see if I remember the classes. Holy crap! Even warrior or paladin. So I mentioned that one. Mage, illusionist, a priest, which is a cleric basically, a druid, which is almost like a cleric basically, a thief, and that's about it. And then I remember they publish a lot of like different books, like the Complete Warrior Handbook, and those offer other options for fighter. For example, you could create a barbarian, and the cleric offered the chance to create a monk, but it wasn't like the monk of Oriental Adventure. So yeah, there were a bunch of stuff. Mostly what I play here were fighters. My first character, and I still remember this character because he died in the most miserable way possible. Oh yeah, okay. Let me explain. Before I explain that, in D&D you create a character. Basically, it's like in a play. You are in a play, except for the fact that you are not on stage. It's basically a play that you play with your imagination, and there's a lot of improvisation. If you have never played an RPG, and I'm curious to know what that is. But yeah, so yeah, there's a person that narrates the story, and you basically decide what happened in the story. He give you a choice, and you decide based on your character background, the value of the character that you are portraying in the game, and all that stuff. So yeah. My favorite characters to play were warriors, and I was playing this paladin, and it was in Ravenloft, and Ravenloft is a world where everything is very, very evil. So in this adventure, we were playing like they were kind of like little marionettes that were alive, and one of the marionettes knocked me out, and I guess the soul of my character was transferred to the soul of the marionette, and the other characters didn't know, so they burned out the place, and I was trapped inside, and my character, because they killed I couldn't escape, and they burned the place down. So basically my character died because of that. Afterwards, I play mostly fighters. Never got to play a mage. I think one time I played a dwarf cleric. I think I have the drawing of that dwarf cleric that I used to play. He used to carry a big mace, and he was kind of like crazy, thinking that he had to convert everybody to his god. So I know the mace tag to him. Yeah. Anyway, and then I had a character that I was happy. I was able to get it to level 3, and the storyline was amazing. The DM was fantastic. And I had a good time, and my character was kind of like a barbarian, but he was a fighter basically, but he was a barbarian. Yeah. I used to play a lot of barbarians. Like, I am a fan of Conan the Barbarian, which I am. So, anyway, but you didn't know that. So yeah, moving on. So yeah, AD&D. So you have, and then you could, when you design character here, you would choose a race. You would choose a class, and then something optional that some DMs use and some don't, but most DMs decided to use it was a proficiency system. So you will have proficiencies where you have non-weapon and weapon proficiency, where you can use to, I think the fighter was the only one who was allowed to specialize in weapons. Other characters can use one slot of weapon proficiency to be proficient with one particular weapon. And then you will have non-proficiency, which will be skills like hearing or tumbling or jumping or whatever, And Then we have eventually third edition came out and 3.5, and I have my 3.5 D&D book here because I'm a big collectionist. So I got my original 3.5 that I got when it came out. I haven't bought the republished version because I haven't had the money, and I don't know if I'm going to buy it. But yeah, that's my 3.5 version. And what I like about 3.5 were the improvements that happened in terms of the. Still, you choose different races like dwarf, halflings, elves, half elves, and half orcs. Yeah, half orcs, which I found very interesting. Looking back now, I find it interesting that I could have played a female half orc. Yeah. So anyway, and then they have the different classes here, and let me see. You could be a bard, a barbarian, and if I miss something, please. Like it just happened. A cleric, a druid, a fighter, a monk, which I fell in love. As soon as I had this class in here, I was like, okay, I'm playing D&D 3.0 because there's a monk. I'm a big fan of a martial arts movie, and by martial arts movie, I mean like the old kung fu movies that you can see on TV or buy in your video store. So yeah, I love watching martial art movies. So my favorite class to play in this game was monks. I used to play a lot of monks. Somehow I just love the character class, and I love what they did, and I just identify with them. So yeah, I started playing monks, and they also have the sorcerer here, which was an interesting class to play, because contrary to the wizard, where you have to memorize the spells, the sorcerer is like spontaneous casting basically. And then there were the other things that they added besides the skills. They put now the skills and feats. So now you have skills, plus you have feats that will help your character when gaming, and you could use maps to simulate the battle to track where players were back in AD&D and D&D Basic. There was something like that, so it didn't matter. You didn't have the. It's 5 a.m. in the morning almost. Back in the day, you didn't have to have miniatures or anything like that. Though some DMs they may put the pieces in there just to simulate the combat, but it wasn't needed to play the combat. You didn't need to have a map or a hex grid or anything like that. It was optional. Mostly it took place in the player's imagination, and but in here you could have a grid of squares, and you can track your position in the map, and it make running combat a little bit more easier, and people were more aware of where they were before they actually could take an action. Then we have 4th edition. I don't have any of the books of 4th edition. They are my storage unit because, to be honest, 4th edition I didn't like it too much. It was weird. I never got too much into it. I had the chance of playing 4th edition, but I only have played in the D&D encounters because they were running that, and I didn't have. After I moved here in 2004, I didn't have a group to play, and I just happened to find a group to play, and I decided to play that game. But to be honest, I didn't quite like that version of D&D. I didn't like 4th edition too much. It didn't do it for me. It's sometimes fun to play, but at the same time I don't like it. It's like and you need it's too difficult to create the characters. This whole power thing, they just like I really period is like I don't like it too much, and that's why when this other game came out, and I'm talking about Pathfinder, I got into it because it was more fun and a little bit more easier to play, and it was almost like playing 3.5, which is basically Pathfinder. It's like a review version of D&D 3.5. Now, recently we know that Wizard of the Coast just upgraded D&D, and I joined the playtesting group, but I couldn't play too much, sadly. But I kind of feel like I love the improvements, and I already downloaded the basic the basic handbook online, and I just got the D&D starter set, which has a cover, which actually, hey, that's interesting. It's almost similar to the other cover, except for the fact that the character is not in a horse, but here the character is in just there with a shield protecting him from the big dragon. But yeah, interesting. Yeah, I didn't realize that. Huh. Anyway, but yeah, it's a nice cover art, so I decided to get it. And in here, what I like is like them now, instead of like having weapon proficiencies and and skills and all this stuff, you only have proficiencies that you get as a package when you get your class. And also, if you choose a background, then you get more proficiencies, which includes skills or weapons that you can use and all that stuff. I'm looking forward to see the player's handbook, which should be coming in August, I think, and I'm really excited about that one. I'm planning on getting it because I'm curious to see, because the new changes, I kind of love them. This is not D&D 4.0. If you have played 4.0, this is totally different. This is going back to the old days. I think even the feats are optional, which is interesting because that kind of like make the game follow through. It's kind of like a mixed version of D&D 3.0 and AD&D, which is quite nice, and I like that. And also, you don't, for chronic combat, you do not even need to have a grid to play with, which makes things a little bit more easier. So yeah, I think this is going to be a great game to play, you know. On top of that, I like the fact that in the player's handbook, the Wizard of the Coast says that when you create a character, their sexual orientation and gender identity, or how they express themselves in the game of the character, it's up to you to decide. So it's kind of awesome, because now you could have technically a transgender elf warrior. That sounds interesting. Or you can have a transgender fighter. I'll probably play that. But yeah, no, that's really cool what Wizard of the Coast did, and that they added that in the rulebook, that you can play basically your character can have whatever attraction you decide, and that's totally perfectly fine. So it's really cool in that sense how things have improved. It's not the end of it, you know, and let me see if I can find the actual wording of the game so that you guys can have an idea. So let me see. It's going to take me a little bit because my computer is a little bit slow. So hang in there. I will get that information soon, as soon as I can. But first, oh shoot. And I used to work there. Anyway, some water. Water is good for you. 8 glasses daily. Never mind. I'm trying to be silly, but I don't think I'm being too silly. Alright, they got the D&D basic rules, which you can download for free on the Wizard of the Coast website. Yes. Let's see. So, I like this. That's what they say here, which is basically what they're saying. The game advantages, disadvantages. Let's see. Specific beats general. This book contains rules, especially in parts 2 and 3, that govern how the game plays. That same many ritual traits, class features, spells, magic items, monster abilities, and other game elements break the general rules in some way, adding an exception to how the rest of the game works. Remember this: if a specific rule contradicts a general rule, the specific rule wins. Okay. Exceptions to the rules are often minor. For instance, many adventurers don't have proficiency with longbows, but every widow of those because of a racial trait. That trait creates a minor exception in the game. Other examples for breaking are more conspicuous. For instance, an adventurer can normally pass through walls, but some spells make that impossible. Magic accounts for most of the major exceptions to the rules. So there are some rule exceptions, as always, in every game. But let me see if I can find the one that I was talking about, because I got distracted in there. Okay, here we go. Okay, I know, silence, the bad thing when you're making a video blog. Shit, I think I passed all this. Let me see. Describe your character. So yeah, you can choose backgrounds as I said. Let's see if I can find what I need here. Yeah. So yeah, the basic classes here: cleric, warrior, thief, and magic user or wizard. Okay, and then chapter 4: personality and background. Character details. Your character. You have your character name, sex, and it says you can play a male or female character without gaining any special benefits or hindrance. Think about how your character does or does not conform to the broader cultural expectations of sex, gender, and sexual behavior. Yes, you heard that right. Let me put it out. Think about how your character does or does not conform to the broader cultural expectations of sex, gender, and sexual behavior. For example, a male drow cleric defies the traditional gender divisions of drow society, which could be a reason for your character to leave that society and come to the surface. And then it goes into the other part that says here is you don't need to be confined to binary notions of sex and gender. I know what I'm talking. I know I heard that right. It says you don't need to be confined to the binary notions of sex and gender. Awesome. The elf god Corallon is often seen as androgynous or hermaphroditic. For example, and some elves in the multiple universe are made in Corellon's image. You could also play a female character who presents herself as a man who feels trapped in a female body, or a bearded female dwarf who hates being mistaken for a male. There you got it. You can be a female with a bearded female dwarf who always get confused for a male, or maybe that she just gets a man. I don't know. Likewise, your character's sexual orientation is for you to decide. Interesting, but I like it because it's awesome. Because they're including, like, basically you can have a transgender character, which is cool. Although it's not the first time a game like that has that, because as far as I remember, one time when I was in college, I got involved into playing Rifts, and I'm talking about Palladium RPG Rifts, which a friend of mine got me into it. And in that game, they have the game is like, let me tell you, the game is apocalyptic. It's in the very very future, and the game is like totally completely insane. The classes are interesting. And somehow I had a character that they decided, oh, let me give you some insanity. And the insanity that they gave me was that I had a persona that saw itself that was a woman. So that was very interesting when I was playing that, because my character was a male. And then when that persona took over, so my character seemed, effeminate in the eyes of the other players. So that created some very interesting situations. I was surprised that they gave me that, but honestly, I don't know why they gave me that. Well, I rolled the die, but at the same time, I find it interesting that I got that that mental disorder for the character back then. Maybe they knew I was going to transition after all. Who knows? I don't know. But like, yeah, that kind of like, think about that. That kind of surprised me now. Huh? But then I don't know why they might probably get surprised once I said that I was going to transition. That's why it is. But yeah, I used to play Rifts, and I even have my copy of Palladium Rifts in here. But yeah, so in the end, my point, D&D is out there. go and get it. I already got mine, and I think I'm going to be playing this um, quite a lot. I mean, if I can find a group of people to play, and or they can, or I can start my own group. I don't know, but I'm planning to do some D&D gaming in the future, in the near future, hopefully. Anyway, this is it for now. Have a great day. It's Sunday, and happy Sunday to all of you out there. And feel free to watch my video comments and give me ideas for topics. That's why I decided to do it, because I haven't done a review or a comparison of games, and I know I didn't go into too much depth, and maybe I left something behind. So if I made a mistake and I forgot something, please let me know. But yeah. Anyway, get D&D 5.0 or D&D as they call it now, and start gaming. Game on.